Hey, good morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Welcome to the MLive Morning Weather Update brought to you by Lush Lawn. I love that when I tell you 60 degrees in the headline, boom, all of a sudden everybody's here. Fair weather fans, maybe? Yeah, we're seeing kind of a lesser weather pattern, if that's a way to say it, for Saturday in the southern half of lower Michigan, and it gets us into the warm sector of the storm. And 60 isn't a stretch at this time of the year. Now, I want to start off. First off, I want to tell you it's slowly starting to change. Maybe I had to put down some math and kind of redo my expectations, and it doesn't sound too bad. I told my wife yesterday, I said, looks really wintry for the next several weeks or so. But then I looked, next 10 days, southern half of lower Michigan, we have 4 days in the 30s for highs, 3 days in the 40s for highs, 2 days in the 50s, and 1 day in the 60s. So when you look at it that way in the next 10 days, it really isn't too bad. Hey, let's say hi to some folks before we get started. Good morning, Harriet Cutler from Bay City and Sue Wilson. Thanks for watching. And good morning, Michael Predmore. They golfed yesterday, and I'm assuming that means you're not in Michigan. Here we go. All right, so what we're going to start with is we're going to start with the long-term average high temperatures. I just want to show you what the power of the sunshine does as we get into March. So we start, this is the 2nd of March. This is the long-term average high temperature. So you're looking at Saginaw and Grand Rapids at 35, Oakland County at 36, Detroit and Ann Arbor at 38. Okay, so let's just go 2 weeks from now and look at the long-term average. And it goes from 35 in Saginaw and Grand Rapids to 43. So just in 2 weeks' time, we gain, 8 degrees of power from the sunshine. That's the long-term average. We know that each individual month of a year doesn't always follow what the long-term average does, but it shows a sign of the power of the sunshine increasing. Then let's go to the end of the month, and we're up another 7 degrees in 2 weeks to average high of about 50 in Saginaw and Grand Rapids, low 50s in Oakland County, Detroit, Ann Arbor. So if you can hang in there, we'll get to 50. Hey, good morning, Jonathan McKember, a fellow former co-worker. I am doing well and hope you're doing well too. Okay, so we've been talking about a little bit of an Alberta clipper. By the way, if you could hit the share button, I would appreciate it very much. I'm going to get to the 60-degree temperatures here in just a moment. We've been talking about a little Alberta clipper coming southward, maybe some snowy roads today. It looks even lesser of a threat today. So here is the current radar, snow coming across the UP. And of course, you'll have snowy roads across the eastern UP if you're going there today. Here's the radar forecast. And we get to noon. Not really much going on. Some scattered snow showers. Even places like Traverse City and Gaylord and Alpena that I thought yesterday would get, a few hours of steady light snow, look to be just more hit and miss. And we go to 3 o'clock, and you might start to get a snow shower around Saginaw and the Thumb and Grand Rapids. Nothing really put together. And we get to 6 o'clock, and you might start to get a few rain and snow showers in through Oakland County and Flint, Genesee County, Grand Blanc, Lansing, into the far southeast, Detroit, Ann Arbor. And we go to late evening, 10 o'clock, and it's all done. So really, it's not going to be much of an issue at all. Oh, let me get you back to where you can see what's going on. Oh, excuse me. I gotta sneeze. Okay, so total snowfall? Not really much. An inch or so across Mackinac Bridge in the eastern part of the UP, an inch or two. Traverse City, less than an inch now, it looks like. The Thumb, Genesee County, higher elevations, less than an inch. Elsewhere, nothing. All right, now let's get into the weekend weather. Let's get into what causes us to get to 60 degrees. We talked about an initial burst of freezing rain and snow. That looks lesser too because the storm system looks drier. It looks like the warm front moves through quicker, and it looks like the next area of rain with it, which will be fairly substantial, will hold off. And that's what gets us into that window where we could have 60 degrees or so. So here we go. All right, tomorrow, great travel weather. I'm told that a lot of spring breaks start coming up for colleges. And if you're escaping on Thursday, say driving to Florida, you've got a great drive. Look at that, all the way through the Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, dry. All right, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Friday evening. The European model is quite a bit drier. It had a band of precipitation extending back to the southeast into Michigan yesterday, and all the models are kind of trending that way. So this is Saturday morning, the freezing rain, northern Wisconsin now heading into the UP, far northern lower, but even Traverse City, which looked like it would start with freezing rain early Saturday morning, now is rain and not until Saturday afternoon. And notice the southern half of Michigan dry for a time period. And notice that this is Saturday evening, southwesterly wind. The rain has lifted north into northern Michigan, the mixed precipitation into the UP, and the southern half of lower Michigan is dried out in the warm sector, and that won't last long. By Sunday morning, the cold front is coming through. Here's another thing that I like, a subtle sign of spring, starting to see them. After the cold front, a little cold surge Sunday afternoon, but that's about it. Now it stops because the next storm system already coming in from the southwest, that looks weaker than it did yesterday. And as we go out 10 days, another weather system. So we're still going to be into a fairly stormy pattern where about every 3 or 4 days we could have some storms. All right, I held off long enough. Here we go with the 60-degree potential, okay? And like I said, remember, I want to emphasize 4 days in the 30s the next 10 days, 3 days in the 40s, 2 days in the 50s, and 1 day in the 60s. So here's today. And hey, we'll make it into the 40s from Bay City, Midland, Mount Pleasant, southward, even middle 40s in the southern sections of the state. Now tomorrow, behind this weather system, it's back to a northeast wind, and it's back to winter, back to 30s, 20s in the north, only teens from Gaylord northward. So winter hanging on in the Northland. Friday, 30s, wintry. Saturday, there it is. Take a picture of it. Low 60s, I would say 60 to 64 degrees, depending on how much sunshine we would have. And that would be from northern Kent County to, close to Flint, Shiawassee County southward. And then some 50s, and even Traverse City, making it perhaps to 50 degrees. That might be a little warm. Maybe it's mid 40s there. Hey, good morning, Brittany Bond and Linda Skillman. March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb. And I would call this a lamb right now, to be honest with you. Sunday, we're getting into the cooler air, but we're still 40s, 50s, and 60 in the far southeast. Then Monday, we're back to winter in the 30s. And then Tuesday, low 40s. Wednesday, mid 40s. Thursday, 50s, low to mid 50s. And then back colder. So you can definitely see that we are still in this pattern where it's up and down. As the storm system approaches, we warm up some. Once it passes by, we get back down into the 30s. But sunshine is gaining power. We're seeing a little more hints of spring all the time. And before we know it, we'll wake up and it'll be July 1st and it'll be spring finally, right? Here in Michigan. All right, so there you go. Be careful if you're traveling into far northern lower Michigan and eastern UP this afternoon. You might run into 1 or 2 inches of snow on the roads. Otherwise, rest of southern Michigan, it looks like we're A-OK on travel. Just some spurts of rain or snow later on today. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update, brought to you by Lush Lawn. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Have a good Wednesday.